Drew, this is one that's a callback to last year. This is interesting to me. El Paso Elsewhere is getting a movie, believe it or not. I told you a little bit about the storyline on this one, but I
Yeah.
will get into it. This comes from Mike Straw at Insider Gaming. One of the best games of 2023 is getting a movie, as El Paso Elsewhere is heading to the big screen. The movie is slated to star the Book of Clarence and Atlanta star Lakeith Stanfield as the titular James Savage. That's right, no relation. An addict whose ex-girlfriend is hell-bent on destroying the world. That ex just happens to be Janet, the Draculae. Stanfield also expected to produce the movie alongside Colin Stark and Lorenzo D. Bonaventure Pictures. As mentioned, El Paso Elsewhere has you play as Savage in a game that harkens back to the days of Max Payne and Dead to Rights. Immediately where my mind went when I played this. Throughout the game, you travel through an ever-changing motel as your reality becomes distorted the further you go into the void. The story covers domestic abuse, addiction, trauma, and a whole lot more. Something that creator Xavier Nelson Jr. has said that requires sensitivity from the entire studio during development. Quote, every member of the team needs to be aligned. He told Insider Gaming during an interview last September, quote, when it came to El Paso Elsewhere, if we're going to handle this, not only did the writing and the performance have to be on point, but everybody on the team had to be aligned around making sure that the absurdity and the surreality of the complication of that situation was handled with emotion and dignity. We also had to develop a kick-ass game around it. End quote. More details on the movie will come at a later time, but I think the through line is that this is, if you know anything about Max Payne, Dead to Rights, the kind of anguish that these characters sustain, this will require a bit of a content warning. This is going to be a deep, dark movie.
It's interesting to me that they were making a movie at all off of this. I get the whole Max Payne and Dead to Rights spin, right? And where they kind of pull from those inspirations. Max Payne could definitely use his own movie, hands down.
Absolutely.
El Paso Elsewhere, though, had such a unique art style. Scott, I never even contemplated it getting a movie. Like, it never even dawned on me that there might be something here to pull from. And it just seems... I'm very curious to see how well it's pulled off. And the whole thing is, like, it's in a motel or a hotel, the whole game. So
yeah, it's really bizarre. Some of it looks like a graveyard at times. Some of it looks like other places at times. It's definitely a warped reality, perhaps due to addiction.
Yeah, I would say so. Absolutely. I think they're going to get a lot of pull on that, right? And how that plays into the emotions of the character and then moves forward. We'll see how it goes.
Some of those moments, some moments in that game are just so sad. Taking elevator between floors and it gives your character a moment to speak monologue, and oh man, it's deep.
Are you excited for this at all?
I am, yeah. I like that kind of heavy storyline.
Sure.
And if it's done with respect to the source material, in this case, there's a whole lot you could do with it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very curious to see how this works and then if they're going to be able to pull it off. Do they go live action or they go animated? Like, how do they portray the art style that's in the game?
I think they should do an animation just to match that art as good as you could. It was a little rough to look at, but it has such charm to it.
It was definitely rough to look at. It was definitely a unique style. So yeah, now that's where I'm kind of going, man, now you're going to put this into a movie? All right, I'm curious to see how this goes.